I want to make my own observation on the so-called senior school. I want to make my own observation, and I'm making it from the point of view that I am a former Form 6. I'm a Form 6, yeah. I'm not a former Form 6, but I am a Form 6 who did 7 years in primary, 4 years in secondary, and 2 years in high school. I'm also making an observation because communication which we were taught, especially in the police communication radio room, that is over. It is good for you to know what you know and what the person you are talking to. You assume that he knows nothing. Please don't understand me the wrong way. Assume that, this thing about assuming something makes you jump some points. There are some points you're supposed to make. Say, because he knows this, and then you go straight to the point. In police communication or signal communication, that this person, just like just like being in the court, the judge or the magistrate lives in your country. But unless you give him evidence, him or she, the judge or the magistrate, relies only on the evidence that you have given him or her and the laws that are related to the evidence that you have given him or her. Nothing else. The judge or magistrate assumes not to be living in the country that you are living in, only relies on evidence that you are giving to come to a conclusion. That does not mean he or she doesn't live in the country. The same with the communication. I will not go straight away and assume blah blah blah. No, I want you to. I just assume that you don't live in this country, but whichever country you live in, your knowledge is so much that whatever I tell you, you will understand. But at the back of my mind, I know that over 90% of the people who are watching are the 844. I'm also aware that the students who are undertaking the CBC are very few people. Unless those people who marry late or people who still give birth in their very old age, people who undertook Form 6, that type of education, I don't think they have kids who are studying, who are going to school in the CBC. So here is an 844 parent whose child is in the CBC, learning something from somebody who was in Form 6. I'll do a lot of emphasis on senior school because according to me, senior school mirrors a lot on advanced level. Advanced level is also known as high school. I will come to that. That is what I want. Mostly I want to do that. But I'll start with this. Education experts have come up with this. Initially, education experts thought that for someone to have primary level education, that person had to be in school for 7 years. That is why I was in that system where we went to primary school for 7 years. And after completing 7 years, we got what was called CPE, Certificate of Primary Education. There is no K. There is no KCPE. It is just CPE, Certificate of Primary Education. Then experts came, where they started the 844. If I remember very well, because when 844 started, I was working. Basically, it was brought in because they are removing this school-based education where people just knew about school, but they did not, the only thing, especially boys, the only thing they could cook was boil an egg. So the initial 844 was based on all-rounder, all-rounder. You're educated, yes, but you know how to dig in the farm, you know how to draw it, you know everything. You get my point? That is the initial 844. Now the initial CBC, if they will continue with it, it is competence based. Competence based. Please, if you find this thing very educational, share it. All of my videos, I rarely do like what other people say, oh, like, share, subscribe. No. But this one, I think, if possible, make sure that at least you convince 5 people to see it. Now, this is what I'm saying. In our education, the 763 was basically based on brightness, wherever and whatever. It was meant to a white collar job, whereby so many vijana muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mutapata kazi nzuri sana. White collar job. Now, it reached a place where the government felt that we were completing schools, especially the male, where we knew only how to boil egg and prepare tea. So if you see the initial standard 844, they brought in subjects such that made you an all-rounder, all-rounder. Yes, you are a doctor, but you know how to farm a bit. Yes, you are a farmer, but you know something outside your scope. That was 844. CBC is different from the two. They identify where you are competent. For example, you're very good in drawing, artwork, and whatever. So at a later stage in school, you undertake courses and whatever that is related in the talent that you have. So the 763 was based on making people white collar, bright people. 844 taught everybody to know everything all the time. And it was a good idea. The only thing that failed the 844 was when they started competing. At the end of, when the results were coming out, you could find that Baringo used to lead, where President Moi came. So Baringo used to be the leading district. You'd find whoever was the Minister for Education then, you'd find his district is not necessarily number 2, but somewhere there. So what spoiled the 844 was when they entered into competition. You find that the district education officer is proud that his district, hata kama not number 1, but it is out of 42. Out of 42, I'm among, my district is among the top 10. Same applied to divisions, that is sub-districts. Same applied to schools. Now competition started coming, whereby an officer, the school head teacher, or even an education officer would say, I'm number so and so out of so and so. That is what spoiled the 844. It is good to specialize in one thing, but have an idea in everything else. But 844, as I said, got spoiled because of the aggregate. They have removed it, but still people know how to show that in aggregate. You find that we don't have that, oh, so and so is the leading student in Kenya. But the head teachers can say that last year we got a mean score of 9 point whatever. Now this year we have got 10 point something. It is still there. That is why 844 spoiled. So I said, during the colonial time, they felt that for someone to have a basic, that is primary education, that was to be 7 years. But those who came up with 844 felt that there should be 8 years in primary. Now, when we come to CBC, they have found that 8 is too many. The kids, actually, it is true. If you find somebody like me, you see, I was born 1961. If you find somebody who was born in 1961, when we were in the ages of this, what CBC is, Kizungu ilikuwa problem. But nowadays you get grade 2, grade 3 kid, anakugongea Kizungu anamaliza, anakugongea Kiingereza anamaliza, anamalizia na Kimombo. So generally the IQ of kids today is higher than the kids of during my time. That is why it was found necessary that primary education not be 8 years like 844, neither should it be 7 years like during my time, but it should be 6 years. And if you look at the 6 years, the education is wider, because I remember standard 7, we did only 3 subjects to join Form 1. That is, we did English language, and we did mathematics. We did mathematics, English, mathematics, and all other subjects were included in a subject that was called general paper. Now, general paper, I could say that it is science plus GHC. Science plus GHC. Then I think it is now called science plus social study or something like that. Those are the 3 subjects we did in primary 7. But primary 8 was expanded to be what you people know, because most of you, over 90% of you, are 844. Now in secondary, yeah, that is what I'm saying, secondary. I get people 844 saying that in secondary school, no, in high school, I went to this and this school. And then I ask the person, you went to high school, which high school? They said such and such. And what certificate did you get? I got Kenya Certificate of Secondary. Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. So you never went to high school, you went to secondary school. And why is it that all schools in Kenya, we have a few schools which are called secondary school, like Precious Blood Riruta Secondary School. We have very few schools, and others, they are just called Lenana School, not a high school, not even a secondary school. Now, this is what used to happen during our time. For all schools that ended up in Form 4, for all schools that ended up in Form 4, they were called secondary school. And for all schools that ended up in Form 6, they were called high school. So if your certificate, your Form 4 certificate read high school, like my Form 4 certificate reads technical high school, it's because I went to a high school but did my secondary education in a high school. But if you went to a school that was just called secondary school, it meant that that school ended up like Malava. We had some students in my A-level school who whose certificate read Malava Secondary School, because during that time Malava used to end up at Form 4. So that is how it is. Form 1 to Form 4 was secondary, and Form 5 and 6 was high school. So 844, you just went to secondary, 4 years. With the 7, we went to 763, we went to secondary school, Form 1 to Form 4. And then high school, we went from 5 and 6. That is what they have returned. They have said that secondary school, which at first they used to call it junior secondary school, but I think they removed this junior secondary school because it gives the impression of Form 2. And you see, grade 6, 7, and no, grade 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, junior school, grade 7, 8, and 9. When you complete grade 9, your IQ is most like a Form 4, more of a Form 4 than a Form 2. That is when you do the junior school, not junior secondary school, but junior school. And you know, junior school is like the O level during my time, that is Form 4 O level, and Form 4 in the 844. Now there is a third layer which was there during my time, but it was not there during 844. It was not there during 844, but it has come back. This is now the high school or the A level. During our time, A levels was Form 5 and 6. That is high school. 844, you don't have that level. 844, you don't have that level. And then CBC, they have brought in the senior school. Now, what we used to call high school, they are now calling it senior school. Now, senior school is 3 classes. That is grade 10, 11, and 12. Now, senior school is more similar to high school, which is advanced level, Form 5 and Form 6. But there is some differences here, because Form 5 and Form 6 were 2 years. Senior school, they are 3 years. That is the first difference. 2 years and 3 years. But if you go into reality, advanced level from 5 and 6, it was 5 terms. It was 5 terms. Because I'll not go into detail, but the results, by the time the results for Form 4 came, when the head teachers went to Kenya Science for Form 5 selection, people used to report for Form 5 in May. The results came out in January. Selection came in February. Students knew by March. So you could not go to March, let's say a week or two, to closing. So you went there in May when the school reopened in May. It means that Form 5 you went for second term and the third term. And Form 6, we went for 3 terms. So during my time, we went for Form 5, for high school, that is advanced level, Form 5 and 6, we went for 5 terms. But in the CBC, they are going for, uh, most likely, depending on how the results will come out first, they are more likely to go for 3 years, grade 10, 3 terms, grade 11, 3 terms, grade 12, 3 terms, which is 9. Now, the senior school, they are going for 9 terms compared to our 5 terms, meaning that they'll spend a lot of time in school. And spending a lot of time in school with an IQ that is senior to us, with a higher IQ than the people who were born in the 60s, it means that they'll learn a lot. I'll come back to, because 844 does not have A level, but I'll come back to comparing Form 6 for A levels, that is Form 5, Form 6, with grade 10, 11, and 12. Let us go to the university. University, they saw that um, since 844 did not go for advanced level, that is why in the university, 844 goes for 4 years. Go for 4 years. But the A levels, our time, and the CBC, university will be for 3 years. Why? Because you'll find that I talked to, during my time, the universities were 4 in East Africa. In Kenya, we only had 2, Nairobi University and Baraton. Kenyatta University used to be called KUC, Kenyatta University College, which was the faculty of education. The faculty of education, Nairobi University, was at KUC, Kenyatta University College. So that is how it was during my time. You'll find that most of the things that we used to do for A levels are done in the 844 first year. We used to call it combination in A levels. If you look at it, is what 844 now called cluster subject. Cluster and combination, I think those are just different wordings. That is why you find that 844 spent 4 years in the university, while the Form 6 and the CBC spend 3 years in the university. Then there is the question. That I was talking about, that I jumped A levels and CBC, which is the senior school. You'll find that in A level, during our time, we used to have 3 pathways, just the way CBC has. 3 pathways, just the way CBC has. CBC, we had 2 ways. No, we had 2 ways. CBC has 3. We had science stream. Science stream is what they call STEM. Now we had science stream in A levels, and we had arts stream, which was humanities. I think that is what is there now with CBC, but with a different name. The third pathway that is there in the CBC but was not there in the Form 5, Form 6, grade 9, grade 10, 11, and 12 is what they are talking of, things that a student has, sports, let's say, how to draw arts and whatever. That third pathway is not there during our time. So that is how it is. They have introduced a third pathway where somebody basically does, if someone is a good artist, spend all those years concentrating on arts, and if somebody is good in whatever, does concentrate that. But those during our time, if you are very good in such things, maybe you'd end up in Kenya Polytechnic or something like that. Instead of going for A levels, you'd go to Kenya Polytechnic. But not that they have placed it there. Now we go back to again to comparing the advanced level certificate with the senior school. If I find it, that is what I reason. I may be wrong, but I find it that people who did the old system 763, especially those who went to Form 5. You know, we have those who ended up in Form 4 during that time, but they do not understand CBC at senior school level. Now, when it came to advanced level, schools used to be in these three formations. We had some schools like Bungoma High School, which I went to. It had Form 5 and 6, which did only arts, or what we call nowadays humanitarians. It only did arts or humanitarians only. We had some schools, I don't know which, but it was quite possible during those days for a school to have Form 5 and 6, which did sciences only. Did sciences only, Form 5 and 6. They did not do humanitarians. In this school, you are supposed to take any three of the sciences subject: biology, physics, mathematics, chemistry, such things. So you'd find that A levels had so many laboratories, biology. But us, Bungoma High School, we had laboratories, but no form, no Form 5, no Form 6 entered a lab. So you found that there are some schools, when you did your Form 4, you did Form 5 selection the way you did, exactly the way you did the Form 1 selection. But the difference here is one. The difference here is one, that the schools you are choosing for Form 5 had to have the combination, or do we call it cluster nowadays, when you join the university? It had to have the cluster subjects you intend to do in Form 5. If you are going to do MBC, maths, biology, and chemistry, there was no need of applying to join Bungoma High, because Bungoma High there was geography, there was history, there was literature, there was Kiswahili, there was economics, name them. So those days, when you went to Form 5, you chose schools, but you chose schools that were teaching subjects that you wanted to do in your Form 5 and Form 6. So that is why it was called Arts School and Arts and Science School. So it would be said that this this school, from Form 1, Form 4, they are teaching everything, but Form 5, they are teaching arts, Bungoma High. There are some schools, I can't know which one, which in advanced level, they were teaching sciences only. And then again, we had schools which combined the two. You'd find that you'd go to a school like Upper Hill School, Nairobi. You remember Upper Hill was never called Upper Hill High School. It was called Upper Hill School, same to Lenana School and such and such a thing. Now Upper Hill School, and I think Lenana School, so somebody should correct me, they had Form 5 and Form 6 who are doing sciences, which you can now call them STEM. And we had a stream that was doing arts. So you find that you'd join Form 5 S or Form 5A. That is how it was. So the difference that I'm seeing with this senior school is that schools like Bungoma High did not have a science stream, but and the technical high school, which I did my Form 1 to Form 4, was strictly a science school, Form 5 and 6. In fact, everybody who went to Form 5 and 6 in Nairobi Technical, they did just one combination, MPC, maths, physics, and chemistry. So you find that the school that I went for Form 1 to Form 4, Technical High School, the advanced level had science stream only. At Bungoma High School, which I went for my A levels, had only arts. They did not have science. But schools like Upper Hill had Form 5A and Form 5S. It had Form 6A and Form 6S. Form 5 doing arts, which we could now say 5H, 5 humanitarians, and then Form 5S doing Form 5 science, which is Form 5 STEM. But what I've seen the government has done today is that schools will choose. Will they take, will it be a humanitarian school, or will it be uh, like this one where they teach arts and craft? There is that talent that is there that they utilized in grade 10, 11, and 12. Now, we had three pathways in A levels. We had uh, we had we have no we have sciences, we have arts, and now they have sciences which is called STEM. We have arts which is called humanities nowadays. But then there is another one which now deals with talents, where somebody would just be doing most of his studies or her studies. Maybe this is an athlete, spend most of the time doing athletics. Maybe that is an artist who spend a lot of time drawing portraits and whatever. So what the government has said that science or STEM subject will be compulsory in every school. There is a school that will specialize maybe in humanities. Another one will specialize in talent like arts, like sports, like everything. But what the government has said that all those schools must have a stream that deals with STEM, science subjects. That is the only difference there. Not the only difference. I hope you understand me. The other difference that is there between A levels and I said the duration. We had 5 terms. These ones possibly are going to have 9 terms. Now 9 terms, that one they'll have a lot of time to study. Now for somebody who is studying MBC, maths, biology, and chemistry, during our time, you studied for 5 terms. Now during CBC, it will be 9 terms. It means that this person going to the university will have grasped and it will reduce a lot of time. That is why for ordinary subjects, we used to go to the university for 3 years. And even CBC will go for 3 years. And you'll find that they'll be grasping a lot of things uh, while joining the university because of the 3 years that they spent during their senior school. I nearly call it A level, and that is how it is. And I find that this issue of having advanced level or even having grade 10, 11, and 12, it assists the student. It assists the student grasp that thing and I started to be corrected through, I don't know whether I'll still be there. I'm in my mid 60s. But I believe that in future, we'll find that the kind of graduates that we are having, the kind of graduates that we are having under the grade 10, 11, and 12, once they graduate from the universities, we will have better doctors, better teachers, better whatever. So with those so many remarks, I think I've covered something. And as I said, most of the things we were taught in Signals Training School is that you take the person you are passing the information to be a very bright person in whatever field he or she is. But when it comes to whatever you're talking, has no idea. So you are teaching somebody who's very bright on something that he has no idea. And after you have taught him, your success depends on how he or she gets what you have taught him.